What's going on, everyone, and welcome to Around the Metaverse, our weekly show where we bring together some of the best content creators from the blockchain and NFT gaming community, talk about all the recent news, and give you guys everything you need to know to stay up to date. My name's Adom, and I'll be your host today. But more importantly, as always, we've got a great group of guests for y'all and another jam-packed show. First and foremost, on this epic Monday, we've got CryptoStache in the house. How's it going, my friend?
Yes, sir. Stash here reporting for duty. Happy President's Day to all of you out there that had it off. I did not. That's why we're here tonight.
What are holidays, man? I don't even.
I don't even know. Like being a creator, like you just kind of do your own thing. I don't
No,
have.
the,
Does
the
the
worst.
president does the president have the day off? That's what I want to know.
Good question.
Good point.
I
Yeah,
don't think so.
don't
I don't
think
know.
he
I
has
never
holidays
really,
either, to be
I never
honest.
really asked that question. He should. Damn
Hey,
it! It's President's Day. It
national
shouldn't be just for past presidents.
national emergencies don't wait for anyone. Okay, the president is on 24/7, and
Yeah.
that comes with the job duties. You know what I mean?
Heroes work through
Uh,
holidays. I like that. All right.
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
But yeah. So salute to all our heroes out there working on this holiday. We've got some familiar faces for the show and some new faces on the show today. We've got Meta Mona, friend of the show, executive producer.
Thank you, thank you. Happy to be here again with you guys for some hot metaverse topics. Let's get the party started.
Let's get the party started. And of course, we've got some new faces for the show today. First up, we've got our GIA and senior agent, Savage Santi, who is also a content creator, coming up in the ranks here. How's it going, Savage? Good to have you on.
Hey, it's going great. Glad to be here. Thanks for the invite.
Have you. And then last but certainly not least, we've got 8-Bit Tendies, another up and comer in the Web3 gaming content creator space. How's it going, 8-Bit?
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I'm glad to make my debut here on the show, and I'm happy to gossip about the Web3 space with my fellow content creators. So looking forward to it.
Hell yeah, man. Well, happy
I
to
like
have you on the show.
dude, you got
That's
the
what
whole
we
thing. You
do.
got the Gala Music hat on with the Gala logo, and then I noticed that's the vocal booth in the background, right? Is that the vocal
Yes,
booth?
sir. I'm a Gala music artist as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
word.
that's awesome. Looks good, man. Looks good. Good
Nice.
setup.
Yeah.
Nice.
Awesome.
Gala
you have-
music
I'm
artist
also
as
a
well.
musician, but I don't get to be in the Gala Music platform. You know what I'm saying? They
Hey,
don't
well, I
roll
mean,
the way I roll.
Why not? I mean,
Dude, nobody's listening to folk and bluegrass probably through the Gala Music platform. I think that it's probably more oriented towards
mean,
younger
Can I
demographic
say
and
that
I
old
think
ass
you'd be
bastards.
surprised. I think you'd be surprised how many younger people like folk music, to be honest.
Can I
Not
say
where I
you?
live.
Is it bad? Is it bad if I say you remind me of, like, you could be October's brother? Or you guys aren't related though, right?
No relation there, but I guess I could see the similarity there.
What genre? I just want to ask. Sorry.
Hip hop. Big fan of rap and hip hop. So I actually dropped my first song there a few weeks ago, and it sold out under a minute, which I was very
Amazing.
surprised about.
Bullish.
So yeah,
Congrats.
Bro,
Congratulations.
where do I get to cop a copy right now? Do I have to go and buy it on the marketplace like a plebe? Is that
Yep.
yes, sir. OpenSea. That's the only place.
damn it?
What's your favorite? What's your hit? What's your, like, what everyone's favorite?
As far as what my songs go,
Yeah, yeah,
or
yeah.
Was it a single? You dropped a single, right?
yeah, I dropped a single. So right now I have probably 19 more songs to drop on there. I'm dropping my next one in March. My first one was called Juggin, and that's actually one of my favorites. That's why I dropped it first. So yeah, if you guys want to check it out, it's
Fire.
on the music platform.
Yeah.
Adom
Go
is
check it
gonna
out,
play it
everybody.
at the end of the show.
Yeah, go check it out. 8-Bit Tendies.
I
Gala
wonder,
Music.
it would be cool if we could get that set up in time, but I'm not sure.
Hmm.
But no, we've got a slam show for y'all today. We're going to be talking about some epic news that just got released recently. We're going to be talking about Square Enix and Polygon coming out with a big announcement here on the project that Square Enix has kind of been teasing for some time now. We're going to be talking about some rumors, going around the rumor mill about YouTube potentially maybe integrating NFTs here coming soon. And then lastly, another article going over Amazon on the road to Web3. In an announcement they came out in, investing in a Web3 kind of style project that, goes along with the lines of what we were talking about, how they're going to be coming out with a bigger announcement here in
Coming.
April, most likely. But before we jump into everything, I want to give a huge shout out to our sponsors for this show this episode of Around the Metaverse, the folks over at Alluvium. Now, for those of you who don't know, Alluvium's an open world creature collector and auto battler that's undeniably one of the top games in Web3 right now. They recently announced the date for their highly anticipated Alluvitar sale, and a bit more on the utility that's going to be coming behind those avatars, how that fits into the game in a new feature called Alluvium Beyond. So keep an eye on the channel, because we're actually going to be interviewing Kieran in the next couple of weeks to get all this the secret insider intel that, you know, yeah, get that alpha that you guys know you want. But if you're new here and you're not familiar with Alluvium and how they've been killing it, we actually put together a little hype reel to bring you guys up to speed. So let's take a look at that. If you guys like what you saw there, make sure you hop into our Discord after this, because we've got a ton of codes that we've been giving out. And you know, if you want to get your hands on some Alluvium gameplay and you're not already signed up, you know, you got a chance if you hop in our Discord. We're running giveaways pretty frequently that include that. But let's dive into the show here. First up, we've got Square Enix and Polygon with a massive partnership here. Now, for those of you who haven't heard, Square Enix actually has been kind of talking and teasing their Web3 project that they're going to be coming out with here called Symbiogenesis. And now Square Enix, one of the, you know, I'd say one of the biggest long-standing game development companies, you know, in history. This is no small announcement here that they're partnering with Polygon, which they're going to be doing this drop on. And essentially how it's going to work is it's going to be a whole new IP from Square Enix, where it's going to be an art project that essentially allows players to make choices strategically in a turn-based style game, where each player's art changes with them as they make choices, and eventually they're going to choose 3 out of, I think, is it 5,000 that they're going to be putting out? I forget the exact number of NFTs they're going to be doing, but only 3 of whoever makes the right decisions across the story is going to make it to the final round. And I'm curious to get your guys' thoughts on, you know, why they chose Polygon to do this, and, you know, generally, like, if you think this project is going to go over well, especially coming from one of the heavy hitters in the gaming space. Stash, let me start with you. I mean, what are your thoughts on Symbiogenesis from Square Enix, so from what they've announced about it so far? And I mean, do you think they made the right choice going with Polygon on this?
So yeah, this is an interesting project because, you know, they've been, I wouldn't say like hush hush about it, but they definitely have not been very forthcoming with tons of details. I like the direction that they're going with this, and I understand that they have specifically wanted to create a new IP around this and not try and involve classic or legacy IPs like Final Fantasy or some other ones out there, Kingdom Hearts, things like that they've developed. Because that way you could really sour a large fan base if you were just like, all right, Final Fantasy NFTs, we're throwing it right in the game. We already saw a lot of blowback from like Ubisoft when they did that with Ghost Recon, even though it was a very low level and a free thing. So I think it was smart of them actually to come up with this new IP, and even really being developed by an offshoot studio of Square Enix. It's not necessarily being developed, you know, exclusively by them. And the premise of where they're going with this is kind of interesting. They say generative art, and it's a turn-based game. So I'm interested to know if it's going to be like an artistic-based game and not really like a classic like RPG or classic adventure game. And then the fact that they're saying that, hey, out of all the people who play this game, only 3 are going to move on to like the world boss level or like the final level is actually pretty interesting too. It's not something you typically see for games that they do, right? In general, most games, everyone gets to play it. You get to fight the boss at the end. Boom, you won. You're successful. You're the champion. But with this one, no, only 3. There can be only 3. Instead of being only 1, there can be only 3. So I think it's a good start. I think it's interesting to see what they're doing here. But I want to know more. I want to see some screenshots. I want to see something. You know, I want to see a video, a hype reel. Just Square, please give me something to hype on. Like, that's all I'm looking for. We got one graphic. We literally, there's one, the logo, and that is it. We have a logo. It's a good logo. It's cool, but it's just not enough for me. I've been a Square Enix fan since the beginning, guys. Like, I played the Final Fantasies from when they first came out. and have always been a fan, and so I'm excited. I want to see what they have.
The logo that they teased and the little art with it does give me the like, turn-based RPG like Final Fantasy kind of vibe. Like,
It does,
like you
yeah.
defeat the boss and like the little success pops up right there.
Yeah.
Like that's what it gives me the vibe of.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I want to see more too. And it's interesting. Like they haven't really given much more information about like well anything really. Like what
But right, and you know what? I forgot the Polygon thing too. I mean, guys, if they're gonna partner with anybody, I would think Polygon is definitely one of the top choices. You know, when you look at where everything's going in the market, it's either them or Immutable. Really, is in my opinion, and I think Polygon has a really good visibility when it comes to these things. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited that they're going this direction.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've seen Polygon coming out with a lot of, pretty big partnerships and announcements here over the last year.
Mhm.
I mean, Mona, like, what are your thoughts on Polygon Studios and specifically what they've been doing with games recently? I mean, do you think that this was the right way for Square Enix to go?
Well, I mean, as you guys already know, I always look at things from a big picture angle. I'll first say that it's an interesting example. Looking at big picture, it's an interesting example of a traditional, how a traditional company can leverage, right, the power of blockchain to create really what it is revenue streams and engage with their fan base, because that's really what they're doing. I think Square Enix is tapping into a new market of this crypto savvy art collectors, if you will. But at the end of the day, I think the success of a project like this really depends on quality and appeal of the artwork itself, as well as Polygon and Square Enix's marketing and distribution strategies. Now, when you ask about Polygon, first and foremost, we all know why. The first reason is Polygon's high speed, low cost scalability infrastructure. That's what they're looking at. Another reason is Polygon's commitment. Let's not forget that, to supporting development of NFT ecosystem. They've been actively working with developers, creators to build NFT applications and use cases that are going to drive the mainstream adoption. And that's what they're really wanting to do, right? They're wanting to bring more eyeballs to themselves and create more engagement, right? So I think what other choices there? Just like Stash was saying, I mean, they're not going to go to Ethereum. We know that, right? And I think
Well, mainnet,
um,
no.
Nobody's going mainnet, bro. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just at this point.
yeah, I mean, it's an ideal environment to build on, to build gaming on. And let's not forget Polygon's community and partnerships, right? These partnerships that Polygon has with companies and projects, they're ultimately going to lead to new opportunities for Square Enix too. So.
Well, yeah, and I'm curious to see, like, I mean, we've said a little bit more from them on this before. I have like anyone here has a final say on like, oh, is this a good thing for them to be doing? Was Polygon the right choice? Because I mean, Polygon has been doing some successful things recently, but and not to say that this will ever happen again, but there is room for error sometimes too, like in that Ember Sword drop way back. Like who knows? Symbiogenesis could crash the whole blockchain, like we did with Ember Sword. But no, I'm curious to see what happens, and I just had a thought too, like another pretty cool NFT project, and something that like if you guys are familiar with Generative Dungeon, each NFT specifically was its own little
Mini
generative
game, yeah.
RPG game with inside the NFT. So it might be something along those lines or similar, where each one of these NFTs that comes from Square Enix is like a playable sort of art piece, where
Mhm.
maybe each like every week or whatever the time periods they set, you get X amount of moves, and then based on whatever the result is from those moves, you get another thing unlocked. But who knows? Speculation here. I want to get the thoughts on this from some of our new guys on the show here. 8-bit. Let me ask you, man. I mean, do you think so Square Enix being like a titan in the gaming industry, do you think that if this is successful, that they could sway some gamers' opinions in the right direction regarding Web3 and the use cases for NFTs and blockchain tech in games?
Well, I'll be honest, and I'm glad to be the Debbie Downer here when it comes to this Symbiogenesis project, because I'm interested in projects that can sway Web 2 gamers into the Web 3 space. And this is a self-described digital collectible art experience. So not necessarily an actual game, right? So it doesn't look like we're going to get a character and we're going to go into a world and get to manipulate things within the world. So as a gamer, I'm not really excited about this. And most importantly, as a Web3 enthusiast, I'm not really excited about this. So I think it's going to be really difficult to sway Web 2 gamers into the Web 3 space with this Symbiogenesis project. So I don't really know how successful this is going to be. I don't know, as far as like within the Web 3 community, how many people are excited about collecting Square Enix digital collectibles for an IP that they never heard about. Maybe if it was something related to an existing IP like Final Fantasy or Chrono Tiger, then that would make a little bit more sense. So I think they're going to have trouble with actually being successful in this project, quite honestly. And when it comes to Polygon, I'm sure they chose it because, again, fast, sustainable, secure transactions, and there probably isn't a whole lot of options right now as far as like gaming blockchains or blockchains that specialize in gaming outside of Polygon. I know Avalanche is getting into the gaming side of things. I know Gala is building something as well, right? But like Stash said, Polygon has probably the biggest visibility at the moment, and so it just made sense to go that route. But yeah, I mean, to play devil's advocate here, man, I'm not excited about this project at all. I'm not personally a digital art collector. I'm a gamer. I want a game. So Square Enix, I think they need to step it up. I checked their Twitter account too, and there's a lot of people that aren't excited. But I will say this. It seems that there's a split between Westerners and Easterners. So it seems like a lot of Westerners are not excited about it, but a lot of Easterners are. And I think they're more savvy to play to earn and the Web3 space over there. So it might work over there. But as far as down here, I'm a little skeptical.
Well, and I agree with your
Question.
skepticism there. Go for it, Mona.
I just want to say though, if we're talking long-term onboarding, right? And if we're talking about being relatable and creating things that people is more accessible and relatable, don't you guys think that they're demonstrating a real world use case though? Devil's advocate.
If it goes over, if it's fun, if it's a good experience.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, we don't know. I mean, there's so little details here. So, like, Abe, you're assuming it's not going to be a game. But the way they talk about it is there is some. I mean, they are saying it's going to be some sort of game, but like not really what we're thinking about traditionally that you would see from Square for sure. I mean, that's definitely the case, and not a traditional IP. So I don't know, man. I can't count out Square Enix. I can't say that I feel like they're going to put something on the table that is going to be not quality.
Well, I think, like you said, there's just not enough information at the moment based on what like I said, based on how they're self-describing this as a digital collectible art experience. It sounds more like NFT art collecting and then secondary gamification. So as far as like that goes, I think it's
if it goes that direction, I would be less interested as well if it's really centered about like art collecting. But I mean, just gamification of that, I don't know, man.
I mean, I think the big question mark here is what the IP is. I think, and whenever we get more information on like what it's based upon, and if that identifies with gamers and is a fun, engaging story, then I think
all I really want. I want to be one of the top 3. I want to be one of the top 3 that goes to the world final boss or the world final mission, and I will represent all of you guys very well.
It might be the only 3.
The chosen.
It could be only the chosen. Yeah.
Yep, the chosen.
We're getting to all 3.
Don't gamers love to be art collectors? You guys are gamers. Don't you guys love collecting art?
100%. Especially if you're
you say art, but no, go for it, Savage.
I mean, if you're a fan of a company or a project, maybe it's Final Fantasy 14, maybe it's World of Warcraft. If you're really into that environment, you're buying basically everything they put out. You know, even if you're mad at them, maybe you didn't like the last expansion, maybe you didn't like the current patch. Doesn't matter. You're getting the posters, you're getting the figurines, you're getting all that stuff. So some people are diehard Square Enix and Final Fantasy 14 fans, and they're just gonna gobble this up. So there's people out there that want to be those three chosen, and they're gonna fight for it. So
And I bet most of the I bet a significant number of those people, right, don't consider themselves art collectors, but in
mhm.
reality are
Yeah.
because of the
Yeah.
nature of, I mean, video games are art to a degree, so
Hmm.
uh
Yep.
but well, and 8-bit, I'll say this too. Square Enix did say in along with this announcement that they do have multiple blockchain games based on some of their original IP under development right now. So,
Yeah.
there will probably be soon enough like something that you are down with, from
Well,
coming
There
from
will
that's
be
what I'm
Square.
excited
blood.
about. That's what I'm
Yes.
excited. If they took something like Chrono Tiger or some 8-bit style game and then made that announced that as a project, I'd be down for that.
Well,
Um,
if you guys didn't see the video I dropped yesterday on the sandbox, they are doing their
Today.
classic Dungeon
Dropped
Siege
today.
game. Yeah, it dropped today. Yeah, their Dungeon Siege game, and that's going to be inside the sandbox. So it was
Hmm.
like this, like retro 8-bit, 16-bit type of like RPG, which I think works perfectly on that platform. So I think that's a good way to like take old stuff that you're really not using anymore and like rehash it in a way that is kind of cool and different and new. So yeah, like I said, I think Square Enix has some things up their sleeve here that we may be surprised about here in the next 6 to 10 months.
Well, yeah, let me get Savage's opinion, man, on this. I mean, if Square does a good job with this,
Hmm.
do you think that them being, someone that I'm sure a lot of other game studios and people working on games look up to, in the gaming space? I mean, do you think that other game studios are going to follow suit and start, incorporating or doing cool projects like this with NFTs?
Oh yeah, 100%. And this is, I believe, the second NFT project that they're doing. They reached, I think it was like 6 months ago. They released a statue with some NFT, I think receipts and things like that, or a collectible NFT. So this being like the next thing they're doing with NFTs, is pretty cool. I think they're kind of leading the charge when it comes from like a Web 2 developer into the Web 3 space. I couldn't think of a better company to do that because they've totally nuked projects that weren't good before. They released Final Fantasy 14, the MMO. It was complete garbage. They nuked the project, rebuilt it from the ground up because they like doing things right. So if they take that same energy from that space into this space, I think they're going to go a long way.
I mean, now that MMO is one of like I mean, one of the top
Mhm.
or largest player base MMOs
I,
that's
I
currently
played
running.
it in the first iteration when it first came out.
So you knew how bad it was, right?
just shaking his head.
Okay, let me tell you, I didn't think it was that bad, man. But once again, I'm the dude who like loves everything Final Fantasy, like anything Square. Because I'll consume it. I'm buying it, and
Mhm.
like so, I didn't play it for exceptional long amount of time. But I did think, I mean, I didn't think it was horrible, but it definitely, there were things you could improve, especially when you talk about the higher level games like that. So
I will
Yeah,
say, Adam, to the last question that you asked, I'm just going to add this for other companies to pick up on this. It needs to go beyond popularity and market hype. I'll just add that to it. That's not enough
Mhm.
anymore. So it's going to have to go beyond that.
well, all right, Square. If you're
Agree.
watching this, if anyone at Square is watching this, give us some more details, man. We got to see something more before anyone can make a decision on if they want to support it or not. But moving on to our next topic here, we've got another interesting story and some more, kind of vague information, some rumor mill type information here, with a new CEO being appointed at YouTube, who was previously, or has previously said that NFTs could help, has spoken favorably about NFTs previously, and mentioned plans about integrating things like that potentially into the YouTube platform as one of the things he wants to tackle as the new CEO. There isn't really anything specific about that, but I want to get your guys' opinions as content creators, as people who put out content on, or who are using YouTube every day. How something like an NFT could benefit you, could benefit YouTube, and could benefit the viewers. So that maybe if they are watching this, they put out some good products here. But Savage, let me start with you this time. I mean, do you think that YouTube will eventually, because these are just rumors, do you think they will
Mhm.
eventually adopt NFTs in some way? And like, what do you think YouTube's first thought is going to be about integrating it, like integrating them on the platform?
Okay, I really hope they do integrate NFTs, and where I want to see it is in the form of security. I don't know about you guys, but I'm tired of those, scammers using our profile pics, commenting, trying to get people to, click on sketchy links or go on WhatsApp and lose all their money. So I hope that they can somehow integrate NFTs with security on the YouTube space, and that's my first concern is just getting the scammers out of the space and making it more secure for everybody.
It's impossible.
I'm, yeah.
Those bastards are like cockroaches, man.
I
Like you
know.
cannot kill them.
And it
It's like,
So-
squish them.
Yeah.
hey, Savage, hey, Stash. Like, you guys messaged me and wanted me to hit you up on WhatsApp or
Yeah, there was one right now in our chat, man. He was like, it was like imposter stash. He was like, contact me on WhatsApp, and it's so late. I mean, like the scams are so
Mhm.
bad, but people fall for them. I mean, they
Oh,
are
yeah.
horrible, but like for whatever reason, every once in a while they get somebody. That's why they keep doing it.
That's sad.
I'll actually, this is a little bit off topic, but today I came closer than I think I've ever been to like, getting my wallet exploited with the Digi Dai Gaku thing. Like I got
What?
tagged in a tweet about like minting your NFTs now, and then I was like, I went to the site, and then I was like, this looks suspicious. I clicked on the button, it pulled my wallet up. I was like,
Sus.
I was like,
Um,
I was like, I'm not doing anything further. We're gonna double check everything, and it turned out to be bullshit. So always
Ooh,
make sure you don't rapidly click through things, and don't hit up people from if it looks like CryptoStache, if it looks like Bona, if it looks like Savage or 8-Bit in the comments telling you to go to WhatsApp, probably not actually them.
I do not use WhatsApp, fellas.
yeah.
Do not use
No,
WhatsApp.
but I mean, I think that is definitely one thing that they might be able to improve upon using NFTs. Mona, let me get your opinion on this. I mean, how could NFTs benefit YouTube as a platform, and I mean, how do you think they would benefit individual? Like, what do you think YouTube could do to benefit themselves, and then like, what do you think they could do to benefit creators?
First of all, they would be absolutely insane if they don't use this technology in some capacity or another. And the CEO said it's an incredible technology and he is going to use it at some capacity or another. I mean, I think it's whether it's verifiable way for fans to own unique videos, photos, art, or even experiences with their favorite characters. Either way, it is going to allow creators and their audiences to collaborate in ways that they really haven't, and they need to create those immersive experiences. If they don't, the competitor will. So they have to dabble into metaverse, they have to dabble into NFTs and just get people to be in these digital environments, from token gating to it's just a way to bring the creators like ourselves closer to our fans. And it would absolutely be silly if they don't use this technology, and I think they will. They know it, and they're very tech savvy. So
Well, so yeah, so actually, you just gave me an interesting idea because, like, bringing creators closer to their community, right, is something that we've been trying to focus on. And we recently started up a membership program and things where we've got this Savage knows he's a senior agent in the Gamers Intelligence Agency. We're hanging out in Discord all the time, gaming together and things like that. And like one of the and the way we have it integrated with Discord, between YouTube and Discord. So like, and YouTube is guilty of this in many cases, but the data available to the creator to like manage the membership program and things like that is absolutely horrendous. It's a complete
Trash.
shit show. And it would be a great way to do this. Imagine if both Discord and YouTube like agreed to have whatever blockchain it is, but have a dynamic NFT system that
Mhm.
was attached to the membership program, where basically you could connect your accounts and pull all of the info that have the NFT set up so that it records whatever info you might need to dynamically update according with like their memberships and the integrations across both platforms and things like that. Put it all on a shared database, which is a blockchain, and I feel like they could do some cool integrations and make things a lot easier for creators that way. In getting verifiable data and analytics back to the creators across platforms and things like that. But so YouTube, another good idea. Hire someone. You guys better be, your algorithm better be listening right now, and like pinging the new CEO. Neil, if you're listening, send us a letter, okay? But 8-bit, let me ask you, man. I mean, do you think, like, with a new CEO coming in who's mentioned wanting to kind of innovate on the platform, I mean, as every CEO is going to say, right, we're going to make big changes here to make things better when they're coming in, right?
Right.
But do you think that YouTube's going to continue? I'd say they're the dominant streaming platform still to this day.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Mhm.
since ever probably. Do you think that that's going to continue to be the case as this Web3 industry grows, or do you see potentially another streaming platform making better innovations?
No, I don't see YouTube going anywhere. I mean, they're the best platform for what they do, and honestly, outside of streaming and gaming, they're really the second biggest search engine in the world, and uh, eh, creators on there are of all types of varieties, not just gamers or streamers, right? So they're not going anywhere. They don't have any competitor even close to what they do. Um, when it comes to other platforms, I mean, right now you have Kick, which is kind of in the news right now. You have some big streamers moving from Twitch over to the new Kick platform. But besides that, I mean, you're not hearing of any other similar platform that's coming out of the into the limelight that can possibly challenge YouTube. So I don't see them going anywhere. They got too much funding, too much money behind them. I mean, they're owned by Google. So unless something happens to Google, then YouTube isn't going anywhere. And as far as the integration of NFTs, he's a fan of NFTs, and hopefully, I guess once NFT technologies are a little bit more mainstream, and people don't get so angry when you mention the term, we can start seeing some integrations on YouTube. I was actually thinking about that question when you sent it earlier all day, as far as like what can we integrate or use as content creators that would benefit us, that would make use of the smart contract technology. And one thing would be, once we hit a certain threshold, we get physical plaques sent to us, right? So we get silver, gold, diamond plaques sent to us when we hit 100,000 million subscribers, etc. Yeah, there's a diamond one. Um, yeah, I don't. It's either a million or 10 million, something like that. I know that's a big number away, but uh, yeah, yeah, it's pretty hard to get. I know Mr. Beast and a few other big guys have one, but I was thinking, that would be cool as a digital NFT, right? But I like NFTs with utility. So, like I mentioned earlier, I don't like it to be just a piece of art. So, if you can add some sort of utility to that, right? So you hit a certain threshold, you get a gold or silver plaque sent to you as a digital NFT. Now that gets you access to YouTube sponsored events or Google sponsored content creator events, right? You go, you scan your NFT plaque, boom, you have access to the event. And then when it comes to maybe your subscribers or your fans, again, same thing. When you hit a certain threshold, similar to you can't monetize your channel until you have 1,000 subscribers and a certain amount of watch time. Maybe when you hit a certain subscriber threshold, you unlock the ability to offer NFTs to your fans. And those NFTs can have some sort of utility attached to them, in the same way that versus, having to pay for paywall content. Whoever owns that NFT, maybe they get access to your paywall content for free or at a steep discount. Or if they integrate some sort of creator store or something like that, right? You can use that NFT to get a certain discount again on the creator store. But I think there's a million and one ways in which they can use this technology to kind of integrate the community and the fans uh, into the ecosystem a little better.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure we're gonna see. I think we're gonna see something probably along like, if Reddit has NFTs, if Twitter at least at one point had NFTs, You know, if Instagram has NFTs, like I think we're bound to see something YouTube do something here soon. I mean, Stash, let me get your thoughts on this, man. I mean, like, what would you say that other streaming platforms like Twitch and even more like focused on Web3, I guess, Theta, are doing that YouTube could benefit from that maybe they aren't doing right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the live stream features that we see could be
Mhm.
improved. The interaction between the fan and the creator themselves, and that's really where I see a lot of power for NFTs when it comes to them on being on YouTube for creators. Is live streams will be a huge driver of something like this. In particular, this is something I already did on my own, which is kind of fun, like crazy, like to think about this. But like, I built a whole NFT game that is centered around my live stream. So on Thursdays we play the Secret Agent Stash game, and these NFTs that people own, they allow them to burn them during the show and then get me to do things like change disguises or play blindfold for 10 seconds or lose on purpose or even change the game that I'm playing. And so that kind of high level interactivity that you can give to your fans that kind of influence what's going on your channel or make you do something fun. I mean, we see some of that already on Twitch, some of that functionality on Twitch, but it is still limited. There's only so much you can do and only so much customization you can make. But with something like this, you can easily, create your own NFTs and then distribute them to your fans and let them interact in a really cool and unique way. And then, also use for things like rewards, like what 8-Bit Tendies was talking about, how, you can engage your community a little bit better. And this NFT unlocks certain abilities outside of the stream too. And so there's just so much you could do.
Yeah, I mean, YouTube, you better be taking notes, man, because you got the cream of the crop in terms of Web3 content creators here, giving you all the suggestions you need to come out with some banging features. But I've no doubt that I think YouTube is going to do something that actually works. I mean, it might take a couple iterations. It might be a little bit clunky and you know effed at first, but I feel like once they start to roll things out, it'll probably be something that actually we're going to benefit a lot from, and that
Well,
the end user and the viewer is going to benefit from too.
yeah, and you see kind of like you mentioned Theta earlier and like kind of things they do, like they have some really cool like watch badge systems, right? So like these NFTs that people get for like watching certain streams. Like one of the coolest ones I
Mhm.
got was watching a NASA stream when they were launching a new rocket, or no, it was the Mars rover when they launched the Mars rover, and that, or no, not when they launched it, but then when it was landing, I think they did a whole big stream there, and people who attended got this like cool little animated NFT sticker, and you could like display it on your thing, like, oh, here's all the cool badges and things I have. So like, there's so many ways that you could really do, some interactivity even beyond like it being game focused, which is cool.
Well, and if you compare it to, sorry, and if you compare it to like Tata and YouTube, if you compare it to YouTube, I mean, YouTube is actually behind because Tata does have a decentralized streaming infrastructure, like
Yeah.
Slash was saying, and they make content delivery a lot faster, right? They also offer content moderation. Let's not don't forget, and governance too. So YouTube is actually a little behind. I just wanted to add that. And some good comments in the chat, by the way, from some of our friends too. There's a lot that can be done.
Well, yeah, YouTube is, like I said, they better be taking notes. But let's hop on to our last topic for tonight, and another story about another, I'd say titan of industry here, in their, entry into Web3. Amazon coming out with an announcement about a new investment that they're making into a company called Superplastic. And now, I guess I'm behind the times, even like being 25, but like I had no idea that Superplastic was such a big company and a big brand. And Amazon's actually investing in them specifically for them to put out and produce a show around their, two of their digital character, the characters sort of that they've created with their brand, called Janky and Gugamon. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but Gugamon. And
Yeah.
I
they're
didn't
these
know
they're
that.
these they're these like kind of rabbids esque like looking characters that are less than ethical, I'd say, in their in their dealings, and
Bro, just say they're
they go
straight
around.
up Degen characters. Like literally, these
Yeah.
characters have spawned from the Degen culture of NFT trading and DeFi, and like they made these characters around that, sold NFTs around them. But I mean, you talk about connecting with the current generation. I guess that's it right there. Just full
Well,
Degen.
yeah,
Let's go full sin.
and so along with the likes of companies that we know, love, and talk about here on the channel all the time, like Animoca, Amazon has jumped in and invested in Superplastic to bring these characters from what the NFTs and the IRL plastic and other material collectibles that they have onto Amazon Studios to create an animated show. Uh, you know, this just being one of probably what's planned for a whole bunch of projects that they're going to be working on here with Superplastic. And like they for they've Superplastic's been working with the likes of Gucci, all these other Fortnite, all these other projects that
Mhm.
I had never even heard about this. So it was a surprise to me to see this, and I got to get up to speed on some of the new trends. But I want to get your guys' opinion on what this means for Amazon, especially in the context of what we were talking about the other week. Amazon mentioning that they're going to be, coming out with a pretty big announcement come springtime for their own, something native to them that's going to be a Web3 project or maybe a marketplace. Who knows? But 8-bit, let me ask you first, man. I mean, why do you think why do you think Amazon right now is coming out more and more with announcements about Web3? I mean, what do you think they're building up to, and what do you think makes the most sense for them to be doing as like a first step into Web3?
Well, I'm familiar with their announcement with Avalanche. I know they're closely working with Avalanche as far as the gaming side of things. This announcement was recent to me and new. And honestly, I think it makes sense as far as, taking digital collectibles and integrating them with TVs and movies. Same thing that we used to do back in the days with like Saturday morning cartoons. For a lot of you who are watching, I'm 35. I used to watch Saturday morning cartoons and Ninja Turtles and all these shows that we used to get up and watch were actually basically just marketing devices so that kids would buy toys, right? And so I think that makes a lot of sense now in the digital age. And as far as like why I think they are kind of now making more and more announcements, a lot of these people at these companies are high level thinkers. They're intellectuals and they're forward thinking. So I think that most of them probably see the benefit of NFT, smart contract, blockchain technology, but they're also aware that their users might not see it yet. And so they have to be careful. You can't just flat out be like, all right, Amazon's going all in blockchain, etc. So you have to start small and start dripping little announcements here and there. Eventually, once you see things proven out in other markets by other major players, you get a little bit more comfortable. So I think, especially coming out of the bear market, you're going to start seeing a lot of announcements this year from companies like Amazon, and as far as like partnerships go. So I think it's interesting. We'll see where this takes them. I did look at the janky and Gugamon character on TikTok, and it's not my cup of tea, but I guess, like I said, maybe I'm out of touch. I'm 35, so maybe the younger kids like that type of stuff, and hopefully it works out for them because then they can buy more and more IP or create new IP and start integrating it into their ecosystem.
Bro, all I know is if I was a parent and that was what my kids were like watching on their phone, I'd be like, what the heck you're banned. Like you're banned from the phone for a month, okay?
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I'm curious to see just the concept of this in the first place. I think is something that we're going to see more and more, especially with the younger generation. And Stash, let me ask you, I mean, how do you see the concept of digital identities and like new digital IP evolving from you know nothing essentially, and being turned into a whole show here with Amazon? I mean, like, do you think that that's going to actually relate with people?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's a really great way to define this. I mean, we're seeing this with a lot of different brands here in Web 3 in general. I won't be surprised when there's a freaking Doodles TV show, when there's a Bored Ape TV show, when there's like we're gonna have all these all these big brands like this that command people's attention. They are going to make content around them, and more content and more content. Because once again, it's a driver for revenue, but also it's like what they were talking about in this article too about Amazon and in general and why they're going about this is they're doing it to connect to a specific audience in a specific way, right? So there's audiences out there that are hard to connect with. They're hard to really get something from and find that thing that connects them and then be able to sell them shit. And so this is one of those things where I think that there's a certain demographic of people out there, a certain age. I wouldn't say it's necessarily this Gigamon and janky stuff is really aimed at a younger demographic, like kids, but probably like your 17, 16-year-old through early 20s, right? And so they're trying to find better ways to connect with this audience, and I think it makes a ton of sense. Especially when you talk about things that are a huge hit on social media platforms like TikTok. And I saw a lot of this news about them, doing stuff with Christie's auction and working with Gucci. And I looked into it, I was like, okay, that's cool, but I didn't know how big they were kind of outside of Web3. And that was something that I think they make a good point, is that this was a brand that wasn't necessarily a native Web3 brand. They put out NFTs, but the focus was never like all about the NFTs. And I think that's what really did it here for these guys. They focused on other things, and NFTs were just kind of like a bonus thing, right? They were an additional thing that they were doing as promotion for this particular brand and for this IP and for their cartoon and stuff like that for their studio. So I think what I didn't know is how popular they were on TikTok, and once again, finding ways to connect with an audience, a specific audience. That's apparently what these guys are doing, and that is the reason why Amazon's going after them. And I could see lots more companies going after brands like this and IPs like this to make shows and do content around them. And we could see this being kind of one of the next big wars when you talk about the war for attention. Anything that has people's attention, these big companies want to make more content around them. We see this all the time. I mean, this is just how the industry of entertainment works. Is that when there's eyes on something and something is hot and popular, they want to make content around it. And so that's why we see reality TV shows that pop off and things like that on celebrities that are just making headlines because of how crazy they are or whatever it is. Entertainment is going to follow that because they want people's eyes, right? They want their attention. And this is no different here, right? This is no different. So I think it makes sense. I think Amazon will continue to do this, just like we'll see Netflix doing this, just like we'll see Apple doing this. Like all these people who have become content networks now are going to be finding ways to be able to, new and if it's if the hot thing is, crazy monkey JPEGs, like let's make a show around it. The next hot thing is this, let's make a show around it, and because people need to consume content and we're doing it at a more voracious rate than we ever have. And I know this because I don't watch that much TV, but I still get to a point where I'm like, damn, I've watched everything on Netflix that I want to watch. And then I'm like, all right, move it on Prime. Damn, I've watched everything on Prime that I want to watch too. And you get to a point where you're just like, man, there's nothing left. And I legit don't feel like I watch that much TV, but we need more.
We gotta hit up the folks at My Pet Hooligan. We gotta get Hooli and
they're working on that. No, and that's great. It's a great example actually of a Web3 native brand that is working on it, and they're creating a game, but they're also creating this whole IP around it. They're working on a feature film. They're going to be doing cartoon stuff. Like their stuff is top notch, man. So that will be another one that you see picked up here by one of these major networks pretty soon as well. I'm telling you guys, anything that can hold people's attentions like this and create brand loyalty, companies want to work with.
Yep.
Hooli versus Janky and Gugamon.
I'd take Hooli. And you know what's funny? Dude, you know what's funny is they're both basically degens. Like if you look at the characters, like these crazy rabbits are rabbit. But I would take Hooli any day. I love the animation style of what they're doing there versus the Janky style. I think just personal preference.
No, I mean I couldn't agree more. Savage, let me ask you, man. I mean, what do you think some of the applications are for NFTs specifically on when you talk about bringing an animated character to life that maybe from a video game into a TV show, or anything like that? I mean, what sort of what makes sense for them to make NFTs around this?
Around this show, probably just collectibles mostly. I'm really excited that they're doing this. I think the show I wish the show to do well. I'm hoping the writing is good and that it's funny and a lot of people like it just for Web3's sake. I don't know if I'm the exact target for it. I'm really picky about what I watch, but if it's funny, I'll tune in and I'll tell others about it. But I really want to see how this develops and grows. I'm happy they're putting more funds into the space. I think they're not going to go away anytime soon. I think this is the start of something big for Amazon. We know that they are in the entertainment industry and they're also in the data industry. And what gives you more data than the blockchain? Who's buying what, who's selling that to who, and then where does it go from there? I mean, the ledger is something that they could really use, and I think that's the ultimate thing they want is that big data mine.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean
That's
Amazon
a good
is
point.
in the business of a lot of things too.
Yeah.
They've also
Hmm.
got a pretty big marketplace that is ripe for NFTs as
That's,
well.
that's a good point.
Um,
Yep.
but yeah, let me get your thoughts too, Mona. I mean, looking at all this, and they're going to be putting out a show. This brand has been working with tons of, basically came from outside of Web3, and has kind of become one of the projects that we're talking about here on the show, pushing the envelope on some of these things. I mean, do you think that digital collectibles are going to become a standard thing for, outside of video games, like for TV and movies?
I think it's brilliant. I think, I'm a producer, and I actually currently am producing a documentary. And what it does, I mean, we're starting to incorporate NFTs in our pre production process, right? Because you're allowing people, fans, to become a part of the pre production process in my case, right? Because that script that obviously there, NDA aspects to this too. We don't want to share a script yet, but there are pieces of that script that could be sold in the pre-production process in order to raise money for your film, right? Or I'll go another direction. When you're watching the Olympics, right, and if you're watching tennis, if that ball that the athlete is hitting can become a collectible and people can auction it, what you're doing is just it's engagement on a different level, and you're making people feel good about being a part of something that they love, whether it's a sport, whether it's a film, whether it's Disney characters, whatever genre. You are telling people, hey, you can be a part of this from inception all the way through post production, and when the film is on the big screen, and when Olympics are airing, right? So I think it's super fascinating. It has to get done. It has to be done. Uh, and you're going to make money from it. You're able to raise money. You're able to get people engaged. There's so many directions this can go. We can really go down rabbit holes with this, but we are incorporating this very thing in our pre-production process because we want people to be a part of it, and it also gives us an ability to be able to fund our project as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think the possibilities are endless, and we're going to see some pretty new, cool, interesting technologies and features rolled out, across all the different platforms, YouTube, Amazon. I'm gonna have to go hook. I'm gonna have to go get myself a Superplastic, collectible to put on my desk now.
Amazon
Uh,
coming from everybody's platform, man. They're gonna come for
yeah.
everybody's shit.
But keep your eyes and ears open for more info coming from Amazon, because I'm sure that both YouTube actually and Amazon in the next probably 3 months, before summertime, are going to have bigger announcements, coming off of the heels of this, and what they've been doing recently. But we're running out of time tonight, folks. I want to thank you all for sticking with us tonight. All the new and familiar faces on the show tonight. Mona, 8-Bit Savage, thank you for joining us. If you guys are still watching, thank you guys for being here for the whole show. Don't forget to head to the description and spread the love to our guest channels as well. Give them a like and a follow. And this has been Around the Metaverse. It's been a great show. We'll be back again next Monday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, for another episode. But that's all we have tonight, folks. We out.